What's going on, everybody? Thank you for tuning into my channel. So in today's video, I'm going to do a continuation on locomotion. I'm going to show you a couple exercises that will lead up to a new skill called the Pulo De Gato. Now, if you're interested in learning more about the basics of locomotion, you can look into the description, and I'm going to have a few videos that I did a few weeks ago. One was based on floor work, one was based on locomotion, and one was based on soft acrobatics. And all three of these containers are underneath the umbrella of ground movement. So if you want to see the basics and get started, make sure you go into the description and check out those videos. Also, for a warm-up for this video, I would highly suggest that you go through your deep squat routine. You can click on the link right here. That's also going to be in the description. And the 6-point wrist prep, click on the link right here. Also, that's going to be in the description. So now that we got you warmed up, you know what you're going to be getting into. Let's get you involved into the work. Before we get into the actual skill, we're going to do a few movements that are going to lead up to the Pulo De Gato. So the first thing that we want to do is a table rotation. Now, the table rotation is going to start with us being in our squat position, deep squat. Within locomotion, the deep squat is our headquarters. You'll notice that we always come back to the deep squat and then we transition into another skill from there. So the more comfortable you can get in the deep squat, the more time you spend in the deep squat, it's going to be better because you're going to just be more resilient and used to being inside of this position. Now, the table rotation is going to be a segmented movement. I'm going to start by putting my hands in front of me on the ground and then going into this quadruped crawling position. Now from here, if I'm going to do my table moving away from the camera, I'm actually going to start by moving the leg that's closest to the camera. So I do a half circle here. Now I'm going to rotate my arms here. My other arm will go around, and then my right leg will complete the circle. So now I'm going to do a table rotation coming back to you. Start in my squat, come forward onto my hands, half circle with the foot, rotating with the hand, rotating with the other hand, and then finishing it off with the other half circle with the other foot. So to sum it up, crawling position, foot, hand, hand, foot. And I said this was segmented because I want you to do one part at a time. Forward into the crawl, 1. Slide the first foot, 2. Place the first hand, 3. Place the second hand, 4. Slide around the last foot, 5. And then back into your deep squat, 6. So technically 6 parts if you want to view it that way. So when you're practicing this table rotation, you again want to do this in isolation. So you're going to start here. You're going to go in one direction, going nice and slow, pushing yourself back into that deep squat. So that's 1. Now I'm going to come the other way, table rotation, coming around, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So again, you're going to start with that table rotation. You're going to do this in isolation. After the table rotation, we're going to warm up our knees, ankles, and hips, as well as lower back with an arch to floor exercise. So check this out. The arch to floor can be done simply by arching to the floor, or if you can't make it to the floor, you can use something that's elevated to make yourself a target. First, let me show you what the arch to floor is. So, if I'm standing, what I'm going to do is I'm going to hold tension in my stomach, and I'm going to bring the knees forward, which lifts my heels up in the air. So this motion right here is called the sissy squat. But with this exercise, we're going to take the sissy squat to the next level, and I'm going to go all the way to the ground. So I'm going to do what I just did. Bring the knees forward. The heels come up. I keep the angle of my hips open. You'll notice that from my shoulder all the way to my knees is a straight line. I'm going to arch all the way down, touching the floor. Then I'm going to stand up. This is called an arch to floor. Touching the floor, standing up. I'll do a couple on the other side so you can see this side. So once again, starting with my feet together, I'm going to put my free hand, which is my right hand, on my shoulder, arching down, getting to the floor, standing up. That time I broke my hip line a little bit. Let's see if I can keep it open. And up. Good. Now, if you're having a hard time getting to the floor, if it's too much for the knees, this is where we're going to introduce our target. So once again, I'm going to do the same thing that I did, except I'm not going to go down as low. So right here, arch to my target, standing back up. When you do this exercise, you want to make sure that you're doing about 10 repetitions, anywhere from 8 to 10 repetitions. You want to make sure that you're touching with the right arm, and then you're going to do another 8 to 10 repetitions touching with the left arm. So again, a little recap. We started with our table rotation so we could get that sequence of how to turn our body. The second exercise we just did was the arch to floor, and this is prepping all of the white tissue, all the joints, all the muscle. Now I'm going to show you the actual Pulo De Gato. So let's check it out. So the Pulo De Gato is basically going to be a combination of a table rotation and an arch to floor. So I'll do it really slow. Starting again in my squat, coming forward onto my hands. I'm going to do half of my table rotation, and then as soon as I start to take this hand up off the ground, I'm actually going to lift my hips, and I'm going to do this transition where I throw one arm over to land on my left hand. So boom, boom. One more time, I'm going to come back around. Rotating, boom, and boom. You'll notice that when I do this transition, I'm trying to get myself into that sissy squat position. So, woo, 1, 2, 3. So, this is another exercise you can do to help get you ready for the Pulo De Gato. Over time, you can go lower and lower. You can shave some layers off of the height of your object. And then once you get ready for it, you should have enough control to be able to do this to the ground. Here, here, rotating around. Boom. Rotating around. You want to make sure that you're landing soft on your hands. Not making any noise. If there's any sound like that, you're being way too hard on your body. All right, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to incorporate my Pulo De Gato in the other locomotive patterns that I showed you. That's in the video in the description. Now this is going to be in that Locomotion video. All right, so here we go. I'll call out all the moves. Starting in my deep squat, come forward, contralateral crawl, deep squat. I'm going to go into my ole, and now pulo. Boom. Going to go into my IU. Pulo De Gato again. Ole. Contralateral crawl. IU. Pulo. Ole. IU. Contralateral crawl. Pulo. Contralateral crawl. Ole. IU. Pulo. Ole. Contralateral crawl. You. And pulo. So there you have it. There is another pattern that you can add to your Locomotion list. Again, make sure you practice this in isolation. You can see I'm winded just from the 90 seconds that I just did for you guys. Okay, watch the video that's on the screen to learn more ways to incorporate exercise into your life. These are all movements. These are all exercises that you can do at home. At home exercises. You can do this on vacation. All you need is a floor to get into some ground movement. Mini Movement Man saying, be kind to one another and move well. Peace. Bye.